Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do a Ruger MPR video. Okay, so I've done lots of videos on this Ruger MPR. This is my most accurate AR-15. It's the one that hits the half-inch groups at 100 yards the most often. I've got other ARs that hit half-inch groups, but you know, if you gotta kind of look at averages, this one seems to hit the half-inch groups the most often. Okay, so normally there's the scope that lives on this is the Primary Arms PLX Compact 128. However, I'm trying that out on a Palmetto with a 16-inch barrel. This has the 18-inch barrel, so I'm just trying it out for a couple of months to see how I like it. So what I did is I put the Holosun 510c and a magnifier on this, which is kind of like my my standard setup for general purpose ARs. Like I said, usually I've got an LPVO on this, so with this to be a little bit heavier. But with this setup, yeah, this thing is quite maneuverable. So it's like, wow, it's like it's very easy for me to forget that I have an 18-inch barrel here. Rather than a 16, because it almost feels like a 16, almost, not quite. The Ruger MPR does have a heavier handguard. It has Picatinny all the way across the top, so that does add a little extra weight compared to like if you have a hybrid rail. So I've been just playing around with different configurations on this, playing around with the flip-up sights. And I've talked about this in the past, where I put them here and here because I keep a magnifier in the back, and the magnifier is something that I use all the time. So the magnifier gets priority. Magnifier has eye relief issues, so this goes on first. Red dot goes in front of it, and then whatever else we got left is where we put stuff. Normally I pull back my front sight a little bit here because I put a light up here. However, with this, the way I'm gonna, if I stay with this, I'm gonna actually put the light here. Actually, let me go get the light. Let's take a look and see how that looks. Give me a second. So yeah, I just threw a light on there, and I don't like it because what happens is it's basically too much of the light goes into this. So I'm gonna switch these two up. The reason why I thought of maybe trying it this way is because this is a longer barrel, and like when I grip this, this is where my thumb basically wants to be. So if I flip these around, now I really got to stretch out my hand further out there. But I mean, I'll be able to reach it. But actually, let me pause it again. Let's try it out. All right, so I flipped it around. It just wasn't, it just took me a split second to figure out to see it. It just wasn't gonna work. So this works better. And to make this light work, I do have to go forward a little bit. Okay, but I can definitely make that work. I need to deploy the backup sights. Got my backup sights there. Fold these down. Now these are the plastic Magpul ones. I haven't used these like in years. Like these have like literally been like sitting in a drawer full of backup sights, most of them metal, for years now, like maybe 5+ years. And I said, you know what? I was trying out different backup sights on these, and I tried the metal ones. I wasn't loving them. I said, how about these plastic ones? And the plastic ones, they are lighter, right? They're lighter than the aluminum ones. So let's give these a try. So they are a little bit big and bulky, but I mean that's more of a visual thing. They're pretty light, and as far as the positioning, you just you keep an Allen key in your grip over here. So down the road, if you ever need to move these, you can move them. Okay, so this is a good storage place, but at the same time they are usable. With this, from this position here, I've been out to 100 yards. I can hit a man-sized target at 100 yards with this sight radius, okay? But that doesn't need to be permanent. I can always flip these things around, okay? So that's a good place for the light. I mean, when I'm looking through the optic over here, this looks like, the light looks like an A2 post, so I'm kind of looking over it, okay? If I flip up sights, go over the light, that works out fine. Now normally, like with an 18-inch barrel, this isn't really something I would want to be using too much at night. So normally this light is going to live, let's say, like in your backpack or in a pouch or something, and you would only put this on at night, okay? And even like temporarily, if you need to, you can even put it here, you know, just to bring back the weight a little bit. So it's like in the daytime, like if you wanted to have a light on the gun, you could put it there. So if you really needed a light, I mean, even though a lot of it is going to be lost to this, if you really needed a light, at least you would get some light. But this is easy. This is easy to move up when you need to move it up. So that's one of the reasons I love these pistol lights, because they're just so easy to move around as you need to move around. Okay, so I don't spend too much time thinking about things about like the 20% stuff. I focus on the things that I would be using 80% of the time. 80% of the time, I'm going to be using red dot magnifier. You know, the light is like, here's the thing, even at night, like you really don't want to use your light unless you absolutely have to, because it gives away your position. You know, basically all the bullets are going to go to the light, you know. So that's why it's like, even at night, you know, the light really takes low priority. It's really just like if you're going into a basement or something where it's like pitch black, and now, yeah, you absolutely have to see, you got to have a light because there's like zero light. So that's kind of my thing with the light. Okay, so with the 18-inch barrel, I keep the sling goes there. I pull it back a little bit, and then I put it here on the opposite side of the stock. So yeah, like I said, normally because this gun is so accurate, it can hit half-inch groups at 100 yards. I generally put an LPVO or some type of a scope on it, but for now I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's get a red dot on here with the magnifier and play around with this for a couple of months and see how I like it. Okay, I did zero this in with Tula. Okay, and the Tula shoots pretty accurate. I mean, I was getting like at 50 yards, because I took a 50-yard zero, I had like a 3/4 inch group. I was getting like 3/4 inch groups at 50 yards. I said, you know, this ammo's shooting pretty good. I took it out to 100 yards. So here's the thing. It shot a little bit to the left, so I gotta adjust this a little bit, because normally at 100 yards, I want it impacting right here. So I'm gonna adjust up and a little bit to the right. So with the one shot's landed here. So with the 5-shot group, with using Tula steel case, I got a total of 3 inches. And usually I'll look at the best 4 out of 5, because that allows for either the ammunition, the ammunition being bad, or the me pulling one of the shots. So the 4 out of 5, I've got like 2 and 1/4 inch group out of this Ruger MPR with Tula steel case. So 2 and 1/4 inch, not bad at 100 yards. Okay, with steel case. So yeah, this is a good rifle. Now, if you go back and you look at my videos from years ago, when I first got this rifle, it would not cycle Tula steel case, would not do it. It was weird because I had spoken to other people that had Ruger MPRs with the 18-inch barrels, and theirs was working fine. So it wasn't until I think like maybe 2 years later or 3 years later when I think I broke a firing pin or something. And then I really took a close look at all the parts, and I noticed that one of the gas rings was missing from the bolt. So instead of having 3 gas rings, it only had 2 gas rings. And when I replaced all the gas rings, and when I put the 3 gas rings in there, you know, plus the new firing pin, yeah, ever since then it's been shooting the Tula steel case just fine. So you know, so that's the reason why it wasn't shooting the Tula steel case. But yeah, not only does it shoot it, but it actually ejects it like slightly forward. Like it'll eject it at like at 2 o'clock. Like not even at 3 o'clock. You know, like at 2 o'clock, maybe 1:30, someplace over there. So it's got plenty of gas. You know, the Tula has enough gas, providing enough gas to cycle the gun and eject around someplace between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Okay? I haven't talked about this rifle in a while. And today I said, hey, let's get a red dot magnifier on this, since the scope that normally sits on this is doing duty somewhere else. And yeah, so let's try it out. So let me know what you guys think. Drop some comments below, and I'll talk to you all soon.